thank you for thinking of me that way. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, first, let me say welcome to week 7. I put week 7, 8 because this is it. It's only an 8-week course. And so, excuse me, this is our last live session for this course. I apologize. Excuse me. Okay. That and a halls. All right. See, I came ready. Oh, there you go. Ready. Hey, Nikki.
Hi.
Okie dokie. All right. So as I was saying, this is our last live session. Next week is the last week of the course. You will have your final exam, which will mimic as best it can the certification exam. I know Jennifer already has her date set, and you all else, everybody else needs to go ahead and do it. You know, I can tell you honestly that you will never not be nervous about taking this exam or any other exam. So you can't let that stop you. It's not going to change. It's not going to go away. So use that nervousness to give you that energy to take the test, and you will do well. I command you. Okay. So we have a wonderful case study from the chapter from this week. This is a chapter 7 case. So we have 2 case studies which either have the same code, ICD-10 PCS now, the same code, or very close codes, or what? So that's the question. And so we're going to look at case study. The first case study, Red Yoder is an 80-year-old farmer who lives alone in the farmhouse where he grew up. Wow. It is located 20 miles outside of town. Red has been a widower for 10 years. His son manages the farm now, but Red is still involved in the decision making. Red's current medical problems include insulin-dependent diabetes complicated by an open foot wound. He also has some incontinence and difficulty sleeping. You know, almost all of these case studies come from actual real-life case studies that doctors wrote. So I don't know, but Dr. Kenneth admitted Roger and performed a sleep study because he had difficulty sleeping. Results confirmed circadian rhythm sleep disorder, irregular sleep-wake type. Okay, so we know that he performed a sleep study right there. Okay, so a little bit of research, very little. And we know that the medical term for a sleep study is polysomnography. Okay. So this is a comprehensive test used to diagnose sleep disorders of all kinds. And what does it do? It records brain waves, oxygen levels in the blood, heart rate, respiratory rate, eye and leg movements during sleep. Okay, so we would go ahead and report this with Polysomnogram 4A0ZXQZ. Okay, and as you can see, I spelled it out for you what each one of the characters stands for. And the thing that we want to pay most attention to in this analysis that we're doing is the third character, the root operation term measuring. Okay? All right. Now we're going to look at the second one, and I cut out all of the history and stuff that wasn't really relevant so we could get right to it. And the part of this case study is Dr. Tunney admitted Oscar to the hospital and ordered overnight diagnostic testing known as facility-based polysomnography, PSG for short, for obstructive sleep apnea, OSA. Sleep disorder is categorized by pauses in breathing, which can last more than 10 seconds due to a narrowing or blocking of the airway. The facility-based PSG test supported a diagnosis of obstructive sleep apnea. Okay. So it seems like they both had the same test. But this one came up as not measuring, but monitoring. Same, all the other elements of the code were the same. The root operation term was monitoring instead of measuring. So let's take a look at these two root operation terms side by side, because they mean the same thing except for the length of time of the test or the measure or the test. Okay, measurements is 1 point in time, but monitoring means over a period of time. Now, it was clear in the second sleep study because the physician wrote here, overnight diagnostic testing. So that says over an amount of time, it should be monitoring, which is 4A1 ZXQZ. Okay, so let's go back to the first case study, and we see that the physician did not specify, or at least in this short version, we don't have a specification of a sleep study. Was it 1 point in time or over a period of time, which would make the difference in the code from 4A0 to 4A1. So if we look in the PCS book in the index, the index, I would take my glasses off to read. Okay, the index says wait, I looked it up before. P-O-L, here it is. Polysomnogram, come on, Shelley. Here it is, okay. Polysomnogram 4A1. So the index considers this test not a choice, even though this is available. So they both should be 4A1 ZXQZ, even though both of these codes exist. In real life, I would say, now that I know this, I would say that I would want to query the doctor to find out exactly what kind of sleep study was done. Okay. For the point, both of these codes should have been, both of these cases should have been reported with the same code, 4A1ZXQZ. So I will have this corrected in the quiz. So if you marked wrong on one of them, you will now be marked right on both of them.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was my question one. That was my question one, because when it say a sleep study, And I looked at, I made sure, I even made sure I studied what monitoring, I made sure I studied definitions way in advance. And I went over that definition, and then I had time left on the test. And I
Oh,
went and I looked, yes, I went and I looked at it, and I made sure I look at the word right, made sure I didn't see it no other way, no other place. And I turned to page 627,
okay.
and I looked at the first one and this measurement. And then while I went back, I looked back at the answer again, this question again, and then I looked down and I saw monitoring. And so that was the one I picked was 4A1Z X. What's that? QZ.
QZ.
Yep. And that
Good
was the
job.
one that,
Well, and I have to tell you is, first of all, thank you, Jennifer, for emailing me these cases so that I could cover them tonight for everybody.
No problem.
And second of all, this is something that you can do at home, okay? Is when you put, I mean, I did the same thing. I looked back and forth at the two root definitions, and they look alike. And then, but until I put them right here side by side and compared them word for word and went, oh, that's the difference. Length of time is the difference between them. Just made it so incredibly clear for me. So this is something that you can do as well, is just even on a piece of paper, if you're trying to decide between two root operations, just rewrite them both next to each other and then compare them. And I think it will help provide a lot of clarity. Okay. It's just one of those things that sometimes until you see it side by side, it doesn't pop out at you. All right, good job. Good job, good learning experience. Okay, so, excuse me. Now, one thing I want to tell you is, you know, this case study, the fact that it did not quite have enough detail in it. Excuse me. The fact that it didn't have enough detail in it is concerning. But again, a really good example of how important it is to never guess, to never assume, to always query the doctor. Okay? This is so important because different physicians write differently. Some of them are very good at writing, just like everybody else, right? Some people are really good at writing, some people not so much. All right. Some people are writing quickly. Some people will, I know this, you know, and I'm sure you probably had opportunities in your own lives where you know something, whatever it is, whatever even category it's in, you know it so well that you can't even imagine not knowing it. And so you can't imagine that other people don't know it. So this is exactly what happens when doctors write things like this. Now, in a real situation, you would always have the rest of the record. You can look at the report from the polysomnogram and see what it says and see the length of time that the study was done. But the fact remains that some physicians will write things like this because they've been doing these tests for so long, they can't even imagine not everybody in the entire world knows what it is. Okay. And that's when you either have to do research, you have to query the doctor to make sure what exactly he or she is referring to. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good job. Good lesson. Now, as I said in the beginning, this is our very last live chat. So before I just do the wrap up, which is the typical stuff, do you have any questions? Anything else you want to talk to me about?
Could you go over it was number 6.
I don't know number 6.
It says oh God. Barry Johnson is a 69-year-old African American retired rail system engineer who lives in a small apartment with his wife Janisa. Barry and Janisa have one son who was killed in the war 10 years ago. They have a daughter-in-law, Cheryl, who is a physical therapist, and one grandson, Alvin. Barry is concerned about Janisa because she has been experiencing frequent memory lapses. The doctor performed a lumbar puncture, also known as a spinal tap, to confirm normal pressure
Hydrocephalus.
Now, I got the diagnose code right. I put for my PCS code, I put 009
For a spinal tap?
because I looked for lumbar puncture, and that's why. Too. Yeah, I did lumbar puncture, and then it took me to 009U.
Okay. Let me see. That's how I would look it up under puncture. And
Yeah.
it says lumbar puncture, comma, lumbar, C drainage, spinal canal, 009U. Yes. Okay. So we're going to go to 0. Oops. I went too far. 00. Oh, look at that. I opened right to it. Isn't that amazing? Okay. 009. And then we're going to look at the body system. Now, I think I saw this in some of the analyses, so you weren't the only one to have a little issue with this. What I saw was exactly this, the body system being identified incorrectly. Spinal fluid is in the spinal canal, which would be the letter U.
Yes.
And I saw other people put T for spinal meninges. And then we also had W, X, and Y for the spinal cord, cervical, thoracic, lumbar. Okay. No. The spinal cord are nerves. The spinal fluid is in the spinal canal.
I went to 009. Then I went to U for spinal canal.
Okay. And
then I did 3.
Percutaneous.
Yeah. And they didn't say that they were doing a drainage device. So I said no device.
Yes.
And I did diagnostic.
X.
It said it's wrong.
What was correct?
The correct answer, they say, is 8C01X6J.
8 as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
Yep.
Okay, hang on, let me look at it. That doesn't sound right to me, but we'll look because I don't know everything by heart. All right, 8.
C as in cat.
Okay, 1 second. 8.
It's on page 639.
Yeah. Okay. 8. C as in cat, indwelling device. That doesn't make sense. There was no indwelling device.
It says 8C0.
Yeah.
1.
Nervous system, no.
X.
External, no.
6.
Collection.
J. And I went over that answer
That
twice.
was marked as the correct answer?
That is marked
Yeah,
as
that's
the correct answer.
Yeah, that's what it said the correct answer was. Yeah.
Yes,
No, not for a spinal tap.
I know.
Because there is no indwelling device. She didn't
I
know.
know.
Okay. You see, so now I have to, now we have, let me just, okay. I gotta make a note of this. All right, so if I remember correctly, Jennifer, it was Red Yoder that had the wrong answer for,
Correct.
Yeah,
yes? Okay,
That's
yeah,
correct.
that's right. That was because that was number
okay.
12 on the test.
Okay. See, the numbers don't help me
Yeah.
because they mix up. Okay, they rotate.
Okay.
So your number 12 may not have been Jennifer's number 12, which may not be my number 12. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
but
this
yeah,
needs to be corrected to this. All right. All right. And now tell me the name of this patient again, Nikki.
Barry Johnson.
Barry Johnson. And we
Mhm.
were doing a lumbar spinal tap. And the correct code is 009U3ZX.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I will get those fixed. You see the two of you. My gosh.
Well, no, I put lumbar spinal cord, so I got that part of it wrong. But so you're saying it's the spinal cord part's the nerve part. So it has to be the spinal canal. Okay.
Yeah, the canal is where the fluid flows through the canal. The spinal cord is like an electrical cord with all your nerve endings in it. And then remember, your spinal cord ends at the cauda equina. And then that's why it's called the cauda equina, because the nerves come out of the cord and they all filter down like a horse's tail. That's equina, a horse's tail. A horse's tail, then down through either of your two legs.
Because when I went up, because I said, I know the definition of a spinal tap. I said, I know it's in the spinal column. Because when I looked at that, I'm like, what?
But not the spinal column, the spinal canal. But yes, but you were right, and the answer key was wrong. And, you know, as many hands as touch these things, and that's why I'm going to fail both of you so you can stay in my class, because otherwise, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to do that because you've already corrected all the mistakes. So, okay, you can graduate. Oh.
I forgot I could graduate to one of my other classmates. Said, did you sign up for graduation? I said, for what?
That's it, Nikki. We're done with you.
For what? I said, she's talking about, you gotta, Miss Johnson said it in the other class that we gotta go in and do it. I said, oh, I said, okay. So I went and did
apply for graduation, Nikki.
I did. Did.
And then apply for the certification exam.
I will. I plan on applying for it, the middle of when I get some money. It'll probably be the middle of next month when I apply for it.
Okay, understood. It is expensive. It's a lot of money.
Because the nurse practitioner, she's one of my nurse practitioners at the hospital. She was like, I'm thinking about doing that. I said, go ahead. I said, you will enjoy it. And she was saying to me, she said, because you know, when they don't ever have to query me. They love my documentation with the book.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. She's gonna find out something sad though, because she's gonna find out lots of doctors don't do such perfect.
Now we got one of the doctors. She's a DO, and she always talk about how they always query her. She said, oh, I got like 5 or 6 queries I got to go over. And I'm like, ooh, okay.
That should make her think a minute, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would hope she would learn from them, but yeah, you know.
Yeah. And she's always queried. Always.
I was going to say one day she could be getting queried by a judge instead of by the people that work for her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't want that to happen. All right, so you got the last chapters happening, and you got some additional stuff on compliance, which is good to know, very important. And then you have your final exam coming up next Monday and Tuesday, and it simulates the real test in kind of design, but you know, the real test has a lot more questions on it.
Now, is this, are we using, are the actually gonna use the lockdown? Okay.
Yeah, you have to. It's required by the school, the college. We have no choice in the matter. I'm so sorry. Okay. So, you guys, regardless of the fact that this is the last live chat, we still have a week and a half of class, and most important, or actually that's not true, it's a week of class. Most importantly, I am here for you. Keep a copy of my email address. I am always here for you. I don't care if you graduated, it's 5 years from now. I am here for you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you advice. I'm here to tell you you're not crazy, that you're probably more correct than whatever, but okay.
Okay.
All right. You have been fabulous. You are skilled coders. I can tell you that. It's the truth. So take this skill and go out and help to make our little corner of the healthcare industry in the United States a little bit better. Okay?
Okay.
okay.
Good job. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Stay well. Stay safe.
Oh, you too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.